Okay, it's 6:02, we'll call this meeting to order. If everybody would stand and we'll say the pledge of allegiance, we're moving next. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's see, roll call.
Jean Adams.
Present.
Abby Maddock.
Here.
Joe Maddock Nelson.
Here.
Kristen Matt Miller.
Here.
Daniel Nicholson.
Here.
Angie Schreiber.
Here.
Mike Parizek.
Here.
Danny Pyatt.
Here. As you can see, our superintendent, she is on her way back in the air, flying from Kentucky, so she will be joining us at some point when she lands via connection that they have set up. And in her absence, we have our school attorney with us, David Lundy, so if we can make him feel welcome to Annville, that would be great. Board members, I just want to let you know that you need to really get close to your microphones in order to, for the community to hear us and the recording to pick you up. Nate will be doing adjusting as we're going through the meeting. Welcome back to middle school. It's been a little while since we've had a board meeting here in the middle school, but they have it all set up and ready to go for us. Item number 2, reorganization of the board. Letter A, I will be looking for nomination and election of the chair pro tem. The floor is now open for nominations.
I nominate Mike Parizek as the board president.
Nope,
We're looking
sorry.
for nomination for
Okay.
chair pro tem.
I nominate Davis Rundy to chair pro tem for the Unified School District of the Annville Board of Education.
Dave Lundy, do you accept the nomination for the chair pro tem of the school board?
I do.
Are there any other nominations for the chair pro tem? Third and final time, are there any other nominations for the chair pro tem? Hearing no other nominations, Davis, you are now the chair pro tem of the Annville School Board.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to move on then to agenda item 2B, nomination and election of board president. I will ask for any nominations. I will ask 3 times for nominations, so this is my first request.
I nominate Mike Parizek as the board president, presided over by the chair pro tem.
Any other nominations?
I nominate Danny Pyatt as board president.
Last opportunity for any other nominations. Hearing none, then the nominations are for Mike Parizek and Danny Pyatt. The board will vote by use of a secret ballot. So do we have, okay, thank you, Deanna. So please fill out the ballot and fold it. And then once everyone has voted, Deanna will walk around and pick the ballots up to be tallied. If there's not a successful election, we will ask that another round of voting occur.
To tally votes, 4 for Danny Pyatt, 4 for Mike Parizek.
Thank you, Deanna. So that is not a successful election of either candidate. I will ask that another round of voting occur. Deanna, if you could please hand out a new set of ballots.
Second tally vote, Mike Parizek 4, Danny Pyatt 4.
Thank you, Deanna. We will do one more attempt to have a successful election. Deanna, if you could please pass out a third round of ballots.
Third and final vote, Mike Parizek 4, Danny Pyatt 4.
Thank you, Deanna. Given that diligent efforts were made to have a successful election, and those were unsuccessful nonetheless, at this time, I find it prudent to move on to item 2C, nomination and election of board vice president. And with that, I believe my time as chair pro temp also expires, and I will allow Danny Pyatt to resume presiding over this meeting, pursuant to the district's bylaws, which indicate that his service as president shall continue until a successful election occurs.
Thank you, Davis. At this time, I will be accepting nominations for the election of the board vice president. First call nominations for the board vice president.
I nominate Jean Adams as the vice president for the Unified School District of Antigo Board of Education.
Nomination for Jean Adams. Jean, do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Second call for nominations for the board vice president.
And oh, you're already the treasurer, you can't be it anymore. I nominate Angie Schreiber as vice president for the Unified School District of Annual Board of Education.
Nomination for Angie Schreiber for the board vice president. Angie, do you accept this nomination?
I do.
Third and final call for nomination for board vice president. All right, the nominations are now closed. Deanna, would you please pass out the ballots for board vice president?
First vote, we have Jean Adams, 4, Angie Schreiber, 4.
First vote is unsuccessful for electing a board vice president. Deanna, would you pass out the ballots for the second vote?
Second vote for vice president, 4 for Jean Adams, 4 for Angie Schreiber.
The second vote for the board vice president is unsuccessful. Deanna, would you pass out the ballots for a third and final vote for board vice president?
Third and final vote for vice president, 4 for Jean Adams, 4 for Angie Schreiber.
This time we've not elected a new board vice president to the Unified School District of Antigo. Kristen, per our bylaws, You are continuing the role of vice president until we elect the vice president in the future. And as I am continuing the president's seat until one is elected, I am going to move forward with our bylaws, and that is to appoint delegates to the assembly for the 27 WASB delegate assembly. This person will have to be there for the entire assembly and attend the delegate portion of the assembly. My question is, who on the board is planning to go to the assembly first of all? That is, I think, January 20 through the 22nd. Hearing nobody going, I will appoint myself for the delegate position for the WASB Assembly. Would anybody like to be appointed as the alternate delegate? Angie? Okay. Angie, you are appointed as the alternate delegate for the Assembly. Letter E, the board president will appoint a representative for joint review and tax increment finance districts with the city of Vanderbilt. I am in a little quandary here with this because there are a couple of our newest elected board members that I think would fit the role, this role very well. And I just want to brag a moment on Danny because whenever we were doing our orientation, you had a lot of questions with finance. A lot of questions about how school finance works and operates. And then also, Gene, you just do a lot of research. I can see that just in the short time that we've worked together. The TIF representative that represents the school district, they have one meeting. I know Angie in the past has served, they have two meetings here, sorry. Angie has served in the past on this. I have served 3 years in this, as this representative. So I don't know who to ask. I'd like to ask both of you, but we only need one. So I'm gonna let, if you guys want to make that decision, you don't have to tonight, you can let me know. And next Monday at the board meeting, I can name that person. But I think either one of you will do a great job.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Can't you do it after the meeting? Item number F, letter F is board president will appoint a CISA 9 representative for a term of 3 years. CISA 9 representative, this year was, this completing the third year would be Scott Peterson. And, since Scott has resigned from the board, we have not had a representative from the school district going to the CISA 9 meetings that is held up in Tomahawk once a month. I believe it's the first Wednesday of the month. I would, because I've talked about her already with all the research that she does, I would like to nominate Jean Adams to be our CISA 9 representative. And what that involves, Jean, is going to Tomahawk, being a part of that committee of all the other schools in our CISA. And you represent Antigo there, speak for Antigo, you bring information back to us as needed from the CISA 9, and give reports as needed to the board and to the administration. And would you accept that nomination for, as a 3-year term? It's not just a 1-year term, so you would be our representative for the next 3 years.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you for accepting that, that nomination, and appointment for that. I also have the, standing committees ready to hand out. Give me just a moment, and I'll pass those around to everybody for the committee assignment. Sorry, Mr. Stephanie.
Nope, that's fine.
Okay, so the committee assignments for this school year the committees meet on the first Monday of each month, as we have already voted on that to be the committee structure. 4:30 is the Human Resources and Finance, and I'm asking Danny Nicholson to be the chair of that Human Resource and Finance. I think that really suits him well with him being in the Human Resources Department and with all the pressures of finance. Would you accept the position of chair for that committee? I will. And then I'll also ask Angie to serve on that committee. And then the blank line will be whomever we vote for to fill the open vacant seat. So I don't know who that person would be. Building Grounds meeting will meet after the Human Resource and Finance and not begin before 5 p.m. Angie, I'm asking for you to chair that committee. You have chaired that committee in the past and done a great job. Would you accept the chair for that committee?
I will.
And then the other two members, Abby Maddock, I'd like for you to continue your service on the Building Grounds Committee. And then also Jean Adams, if you will join that Building and Grounds Committee. Will you two ladies accept that challenge because there's big things that are happening going forward with the Building and Grounds.
Yes.
Thank you. Curriculum instruction, people services, technology, and human growth and development. That sounds like a big mouthful, and they do a lot of work in this committee. This meeting, committee meeting will not begin before 5:30 p.m. And I would like Jill Maddock Nelson to continue her service of chairing that committee. Jill, would you accept the position of chairing that committee?
Yes, thank you.
And then also in that committee, I would like Kristen Matt Miller to continue her service with that committee. And then Mike Parizek, with your education experience of being a teacher in Houston, I'd like for you also to serve on that committee as well. Kristen and Mike, will you accept the positions on that committee?
Yes.
Thank you. Policy Committee is a committee that meets as often as needed. It's not a monthly meeting. Kristen, can you share with me, was it 3 meetings you had last year?
I want to say it was only 2.
2? Okay. So it's not many meetings that the policy have. Normally what happens is Neola will give us a huge update in all of our policies. And that committee literally goes line by line, sometimes word by word. Words have meanings, right? So it goes line by line, word by word. And they bring a presentation to the board and a recommendation for what changes needs to happen with the policy committee. So I would like to, and then on that note of the policy committee, the committees themselves, the Human Resource, Building and Grounds, Curriculum Instruction, People Services, Technology, and Human Growth, they also look at respective policies within their committee and make changes as necessary as well. The big thing for the policy committee mainly is when Neola gives that, the big change, and it's a couple of times a year that they send that. So that's a big responsibility. Sometimes those meetings can get rather lengthy, but they are very important because that's what drives our district and our policies. So I would like for Kristen to continue to chair that meeting. I don't have a starting time because generally what happens is administration will work with the chair and the committee members to set a time, and that time generally varies as work schedules and things will work out. So Kristen, would you continue to chair that policy committee?
Yes.
I'm also asking Angie Schreiber and Danny Nicholson to serve on the policy committee because Angie has served on that policy committee in the past. She brought valuable information. And then Danny Nicholson with his wealth of information with human resources, I think that will bring a great perspective to the policy committee. Angie and Danny, would you serve on that committee as well? Yes. Thank you so much. So that is the committee assignments and Deanna's got a copy of those. That'll be up on the website tomorrow.
And I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
So regarding the building and grounds, if we being the chair, if I can't make it, to one of those meetings for work or something like that, who is the co-chair? Or should I?
We do not have co-chairs because as the president or if and when we elect the president, that person will serve as ex officio of all committees.
Okay.
So if the chair is not there, then the sitting president will serve as the chair of that committee.
a little bit. Okay.
Good question. All right, any other questions on the committee? All right, moving on to letter G, consideration of designation of official publication. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move the board designate the Annabelle Daily Journal as the official publication of the United School District of Annabelle.
G, your motion to designate the Annabelle Daily Journal as the official publication. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Nope.
Would anyone like to speak, have any discussion, questions on the motion on the floor before you? Nancy?
I guess I have one question. My concern is that the Indigo Daily Journal requires a subscription, and a lot of people don't have a subscription anymore. It's, you know, the prices have gone up quite a bit for the subscriptions, and so people just don't, their publication doesn't go like it used to. So I'm wondering if it would be better for the community if we use the Annabelle Times, because that's free, goes to everybody throughout the community, versus just having that subscription. It has absolutely nothing to do with, you know, the Annabelle Daily Journal. I'm just thinking as a community, I think it would be better served if it was a free publication that was going to everybody. What's everybody's thoughts on that?
Well, I can give an explanation to that because I know that was discussed at the last meeting. And Deanna, did you make that call and you found out some information as to the reason why that the Annabelle Times cannot be the official publication?
Correct. So there is a state statute that there are strict you have to meet certain criteria.
Sure.
And because Anago Times does not have any subscribers, and you must have 300 or plus subscribers to be an official publication.
Oh.
And it also needs to be registered with the county clerk's office with a certificate, and they do not have that as well. So unfortunately, Anago Times didn't meet the criteria.
But it does not mean that the district cannot advertise in the Times. They
Sure.
can do the Annabelle Daily Journal and the Times.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know that.
And I have noticed that Chelsea, our reporter, sometimes whenever she puts the school information on Facebook, you still don't have to have a subscription. It will open up free
Yeah,
for
my
free.
free to speak.
You
Anything
may.
that is on our Facebook, you should be able to get up there.
Okay,
If not, let me know, we're working on it.
okay,
Okay?
thank you,
Yeah, myself and then Bridget's phone.
thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Like, I feel it's
Oh, I understand.
the community have access to it, not, you know, everybody.
We have a new editor, so, we're I worked with him before, so we're kind of making it I used to work at the Eagle Herald with him. We're making it, our main stories are free, and
Okay.
any, obituaries, any public meeting notices which we put in,
Mhm.
are available to anybody online.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chelsea, for that information as well. Any other discussion or questions of the motion on the floor to designate the Annabelle Daily Journal as the official publication? Jill?
Just a comment or a hope or a desire, I'm not currently a subscriber to the Annabelle Daily Journal, but, so I follow the stories by social media. It is my sincere hope that, given one of the primary roles of the school board is academic achievement, and given that we just had an exceptional advance in our achievement scores that was reported out in our prior meeting, I hope that the official publication, anticipating that to be the Annabelle Daily Journal, will prioritize the successes of academic achievement of our students and the hard work of our district. Maybe it was published, I didn't see it on the social media pages, so that's my hope.
I believe Chelsea will make a very strong point of that. Any other questions or discussion of the motion on the floor? Our voting devices are not up and operating yet. They will be on Monday. But I think what we can do is a voice vote. So all in favor of the board to designate the Annabelle Daily Journal as the official publication of the Unified School District of Annabelle, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed of the Annabelle Daily Journal as the official publication, let it be known by saying aye. And the motion carries. Okay, we are moving into item number 3, interview of potential candidates. This is the portion of the meeting that we have candidates that have signed up. They have brought in their letter of interest. Um, the president and the vice president did not have knowledge of anybody that was on this list. However, in honesty, there are two candidates that reached out to me personally because they know me. And those two candidates know who they are. And those are the only two candidates that I was aware of that was becoming a candidate for this open seat. So the only knowledge that I have is we have 12 candidates to interview for tonight. That is the only thing that I asked of our board secretary is how many that we had. And that's the information that she gave me. And I also disclosed to her the two names of the individuals who reached out to me, so she knows who those two individuals are that reached out to me to let me know that they were running for this open seat. Okay? So, the names of the candidates are right here in this bowl. I want to turn them over. If I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry. Ahead of time. And these are in no particular order, correct?
Nope.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it the order of interviews or just who's?
No, this is not the order of interviews. This is the 12 candidates that are going to be interviewed. I'm going to fold their names as I say the name, put it in the bowl, and I'm going to pass the bowl to my right to Kristen, and she can find somebody to draw names out. And then once we have the order, Deanna will keep the order, and we will ask the 12 members that are candidates to move over next door into the multi-purpose room for the duration, with the exception of candidate number one. Candidate number one can stay in here. And then after you're interviewed, you can remain in the room with everybody because you've heard all the questions. And let me say something about the questions. These are not the same questions of the last open seat that we had from the board vacancy. It would be illegal to use the same questions. These questions have not been published. There were only 3 people that had knowledge of these questions, and that would be our board secretary, our district superintendent, and myself. The 3 of us are the only 3 that knew these questions. And each candidate, when you come up, the first question that I'll ask you is, have you seen these questions? The reason this is happening is because several years ago, in the neighboring district, in fact, it was the Wausau School District, there was an open board seat and questions got leaked, and some of the candidates received those questions, and it's just not fair to all to hear those questions at the same time, being the first time. Does that all make sense? Board members, you have any questions about that? Yes, ma'am.
It's not a question, I just want to make a comment and put a huge shout out to the 12 people that have applied for this position. It can be very intimidating to apply for these types of positions, whether it's school board, county board, city council, whatever. So thank you all for applying, and stepping up as community members to help serve your community and our children.
And keep in mind, for the April election next year, there are 4 seats that will be open. The seat that we're voting on right now, that one, and then 3 other seats will be open. So hopefully we have this number of candidates for the April election next year. Can you all hear out there? No. Okay. Because I want you to hear. Nate, is there possible that we?
Yeah,
can-
we're bringing it up.
Okay, thank you. Cannot hear Angie at all. How about everybody? We'll start with Mike on the end. Let's do a mic test as we go around. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me now? Now we can. Can you hear me now?
Check.
Can you hear me now? Thank you.
Hello?
Hello?
Testing?
Testing?
Hello?
All right, now that we have everybody's mics working, Deanna, can you step over and test the mic at the podium? Because that's where the candidates, you'll have an option. You can stand at the podium with that mic, or you can sit next to Deanna in the chair and use that mic that she's.
Testing, that good?
Can you all hear her? Thank you, Megan. I saw that thumbs up. Thank you, Don, for that thumbs up. All right.
Thank you for the feedback.
Absolutely. All right, so here are the 12 candidates for the open seat. Rebecca Wright. If you'll just stand up when I call your name so we can see who Rebecca. Dawn McCann. Gloria, I'm gonna mess up your, can you say your,
Driscoll,
all right, Gloria Cotton. Randy Myers. Bob Wilson. Jeremy Hankey Senior. Ellen, I know I'm gonna mess your name up. Ellen Disserhoff.
Mr. Hat.
Disserhoff. Oh, so close. Donna Smith. I should have acted like I was in the second. She would have gotten it. Sorry. Melissa Cornelius. Herm Wisbrocker. George Shinners. Everybody know who George is?
Sorry.
That's all right. We got you, George. Beverly Krychek. Did I say that right?
Crazy.
Krejci. Okay, thank you. All right, so we have all 12 candidates. If you're a candidate and I did not call your name, raise your hand. All right, we got everybody. Yeah, let somebody.
Pick one.
This is the order that you will come in for your interview. This is number one.
Donna Smith,
Donna, you come on up and get comfortable either in the seat or behind the podium.
Herm Wisbrocker,
Herm, you will be number two.
Melissa Cornelius,
Melissa Cornelius, you will be number three. Nate, can you help these folks find their way?
Yep,
Please? Thank
I
you.
can.
Bob Wilson,
Bob Wilson, you will be number four.
Jeremy Hinkey Senior,
Jeremy Hankey Senior, you'll be number five.
Ellen Disterhat,
Ellen Distahat, half? Yes, I'm gonna get it for the next over. Number six,
7. Oh, he's just.
she's number six. That's right.
Dawn McCann,
Dawn McCann, you'll be number seven.
Randy Myers,
Randy Myers, you will be number eight.
George Shinners,
George Shinners, you will be number nine.
Gloria Cazares Cagle,
What she said, Gloria, you'll be number 10.
Rebecca Rink,
Rebecca Rank, you'll be number 11.
and that leaves Beverly Friesick.
Beverly, you will be number 12. All right, all candidates can be dismissed except for Ms. Thompson. Now, board, I have a question for you. Once we start the interview process, we cannot take a break because board members who can't leave the room, because there could be a potential of discussing candidates out away from the room. So my question is, board, do you want to take a break before we start? Or are you all okay? Everybody's good? All right, the way that we will do this, as the candidates are Going out to the multipurpose room, Deanna will hand you the letter of interest as well as the number of questions. You will get a question sheet each time a new candidate comes up. So you can mark on that question sheet as you need to. And, we will go around the table for asking the questions. We have 8 questions to ask each candidate. And we'll start with Mike on the end, and we just go all the way around the room. We will skip our attorney, and it just be the 8 board members who will be asking the 8 questions. And board members, we need to refrain from going off script of the questions that you have in front of you, because all candidates must receive the same questions now they're typed in front of you. Any questions to board members?
Are all notes public record or just the ones you put our phone?
All notes public, they will be public record.
So your notes are your notes, they're not public record.
Thank you.
Your vote, of course, is
Your notes become public record if you share them with somebody.
correct.
That's whenever they become public record. At the end, whenever we vote, it will be a voice vote, alphabetically for the board members, and Leon will say your name, and you will say who you're voting for. Okay?
So I can read on this thing.
Absolutely, that's for you. All right, any other questions from board members? Don, do you have any questions?
No.
No? Nate, are all our candidates in a secret undisclosed location? Well, disclosed, but, yeah,
They're in a disclosed location, comfortable, and have restrooms available to them.
very good. All right, we will start with, first of all, Mike, question number 1.
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Annabelle Board of Education? And how do your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
I have been a resident of the city of Annville for over 20 years. My daughters are current high school students, and they have gone to the school district since they were in kindergarten, so they are my motivation. I worked for the district for 9 years, 2 at the high school and 7 at the elementary level. I feel as though I have lots of skills, especially in the leadership role. I've also started my superintendency program to earn the superintendent license. And I feel as though my skills and my experiences prepare me to serve our students, staff, and community. I feel as though when I was in the district, I spent a lot of time listening to community members, parents, staff, and students. And my current role as a director of pupil services also ensures that I have the leadership in the area of pupil services and special education as well.
Steve, before you ask, I do want to let everybody know that the candidates do have the list of questions in front of them, because some of the questions are a little bit lengthy.
The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think it is important for the board to have knowledge in the revenues that are coming into the district, all from the local, state, and federal level. I think knowing the money that's coming in, knowing the expenditures that is going out, and also knowing what your strategic plan and priorities are, ensuring that you have a plan for investing in the future of our schools and our students.
Can you hear me? Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
Yeah, so the top priority of the school board is to oversee the district administrator or superintendent, ensuring that policies are approved. So as a board member, your role is to approve the policies. The superintendent, you are giving the responsibility of the superintendent to bring you the information and share with you the information regarding the curriculum and resources that they are using. Again, the district administrator or superintendent works collaboratively with the curriculum director. And your role as a board member is to ensure that responsibility for the district administrator, to oversee that. Oftentimes there is vetting of resources and ensuring that the resources also meets the legal qualifications, especially looking at Act 10 and Act 20 also.
Public education often involves different viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
I feel as a board member, it is my role and responsibility to first listen to community members. As a board member, community members are going to come to you, and I believe in the, saying of first, it's more important to listen and listen to be able to understand before you can be understood. So you really have to understand their viewpoint, understand the emotions, be able to listen to why they disagree, and hear all of those portions so that they're not going to agree. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to make everyone happy within a community, but once you can understand where they're coming from, as a board, you have a legal responsibility to govern your body. So you may not even vote all the same, and you may vote against the majority, but it's your responsibility ethically and legally to carry out what the decision was of the board.
Donna, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
First and foremost, I believe that the climate and culture of a board is dependent on relationships and being able to build trust. You need to first be able to get to know each other. Not sure if you continue to do board retreats, but I know in many districts and prior in Handigo, board retreats were very helpful to be able to build connections and be able to hear and listen to each other. Each of you come to the board not just as an individual, and you can't come just having personal opinions. You need to really think of what's in the best interest of the community, the students, and the staff. And so, yes, there may be differing viewpoints and strong emotions, and working collaboratively with one another, you may disagree, but you have to be able to have constructive feedback with one another, be able to listen to each other, be able to provide feedback, and learn from each other as well. And healthy board governance, again, ultimately, you as a board member work for the community. The community looks to you to be able to make the decisions that are in the best interest of the school district, the entire school district. So that is their students, their families, and most importantly, the staff. We need to ensure that the climate and culture of the board is respectful and has a respectful relationship with the superintendent, the staff, the students, and the families within our district.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold those standards while serving on the board?
I have always led with servant leadership, and I as many of us should know, you should know what's right from wrong. And as a board member, it is extremely important to have a higher regard for yourself because you are not only acting on your own personal behalf, but you're acting on behalf of the school district. And so if you are not being professional, confidential, collaborative with one another and acting ethically, you're talking negatively about the district, if you're talking negatively about each other, maybe former staff members, community members, that just doesn't just impact you as a person, it affects how the community looks at the board as a whole. And so what that means to me is, again, I feel as though I would need to make sure that my standards are even higher than what I feel like they currently are. Like, I feel like it's a very important role to be governing over the school district. Like, you have to hold yourself to high regard because everyone else is holding you to that regard. And if you are not being professional, ethical, and following those confidentiality and responding professionally, then your standards, you're not, again, just letting yourself down, but you're letting your board down, your fellow board members, and everyone within the district. Thank you.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the annual school board?
So I've been out of the district for 2 years as an employee and continue to be a board or a school district member. I continue to watch board meetings and again, my daughters continue to go here. I hope to accomplish building more trust back within our community. We need to have a stronger relationship with our community, with our staff, and be able to build that trust and ensure that what we, I don't know how recent, but I found the website, so more recent than what I have noticed prior, but the motto is that not just to talk, but to show and to do action. And so you can't just talk, you need to really show. If you want to make a difference, you really have to show. I'm here because I feel like I can help bridge that. Yes, 2 years ago, I may have personally felt affected, but now I'm in a better mind frame and I know that I'm here for the right reasons. I'm here not for myself personally, I'm here to be able to support the district as a whole. I feel as though my past experience as a leader within the district shows that I can be a positive influence to be able to bridge that gap between our community and our school district. And we need to bring back annual pride and be able to share with our district how proud we are and how we can work together collaboratively again.
Thank you. Last question, then. The Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
I feel as though transparency is key. I feel as though we can't just talk about it, we need to show. And sometimes we need to admit to making mistakes. We need to be able to move forward and have a plan. We need to allow our guards to be down a little bit to be able to prove to our community that yes, we're not all perfect. We make mistakes, but we are here for the bigger purpose and the goal of all of our students and our district. And I think we need to build trust by listening. We need to listen to each other. We need to listen to our staff. We need to listen to our families. And we need to show them the respect that we would want them to show us. Yes, there has been public scrutiny over the years, but we need to showcase all of the accomplishments. So, as Mr. Pyatt had mentioned, we and Ms. Maddox Nelson, we have improved our test scores. We have raised achievement, and that's not at a low feat. Like it takes a lot takes a lot from the staff, the students, and the families to be able to make the improvements that have occurred. You know, it takes direct instruction, it takes great resources, tools, and leadership to be able to make that happen. And we need to showcase the positive things, but then we also need to be able to acknowledge when we've made mistakes and be able to have a plan to move forward.
Thank you, Donna. You broke the ice for everybody. Everybody get Donna a hand. She did a good job. Nate, we will have candidate number 2, Herb Westbrocker. Herb Westbrocker. Yeah, if you'll pass out Herb's information.
Sorry.
Okay, good. Herb, this is the process tonight. Deanna's handing out your letter of interest as well as the questions that we will be asking you. We will ask the same 8 questions that we asked the previous candidate in front of you. And you will have a copy of those questions. You can see it right there in front of you. That's a copy of all the questions that we will be asking. Pardon our board if their head goes down, writing and taking notes as you are into this interview process. And we'll start with Mike Parizek on the end with question number 1. We'll go all the way around the table, and when you get to Andy, you read it from yours to finish.
No worries.
Thank you, sir.
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Annandale Board of Education? And how do your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
I felt it was a good fit for me to apply now. I've been a member of this community for a long time. I've been involved with a lot of the kids coming up and through this program. I've had 2 graduate from Antigo, 2 more in school, and I'm a foster father. I felt that what I've done in my life and what I've done with volunteering would be a good fit for the school board, and I thought that'd be a good reason for me to apply right now.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. All right, question number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
I've been in construction for a long time. I understand that you need to have facilities to grow your experience for your kids, and just do everything that we need to develop our kids. You can't go with outdated equipment, outdated buildings, and still expect your kids and your staff to thrive in the spots they're in. So I feel we need to put the investment in to get the investment out of our future.
Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What roles should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
I feel that sports and other extracurriculars grow our students. There's only so much you can learn in a book from a classroom. To go out in the community, be able to represent yourself, represent your community, and represent each other are the ways that you're going to grow and develop as a person.
Public education often involves different viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
I've been in construction my whole life. I've dealt with people not liking the way stuff is going and not seeing the end project before it gets there. I've got big shoulders. I can deal with anyone yelling at me. Doesn't bother me to get yelled at as long as I understand where the future's going and why we're going to the way.
Effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does a healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
You have to be able to see each other's points, listen, and understand where each person's coming from. Everyone here is coming from a different background. You have to understand where they're coming from, why they're feeling the way they are, and the best way to move forward. We just have to work through it for the betterment of the kids and the community.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold those standards while service on the board?
Taking responsibility for what I have to say and what I'm out there for. I'm here to represent the school, represent the community, but what happens behind closed doors does need to stay behind closed doors, and I understand that as well.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the Annandale School Board?
Making a better place for the kids and the staff to feel comfortable here. There's too many people thinking that this isn't a good spot to be, and I think that it's the responsibility of the board to try to clear up some of that misconception.
Okay. The Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
I think just being open and honest is the best way to do this. We have to be transparent, let people see what's going on to the point that they can, and to just be out in the community. Hiding, not being out in the community all the time, just makes it so everyone's afraid to approach you when you aren't.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Let's give her a hand. Okay, the next candidate would be Melissa Cornelius. When Kristen leaned over and asked if when we're reading the questions, if we can make sure the board, other members are ready, or writing notes down before we read the next question. Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
So for tonight, what you see in front of you are the list of 8 questions.
Okay.
Process will be each board member will read a question and you'll have time to respond. No time limit, so take all the time you need to respond. We'll start with Mike Marisa. And just be mindful that if our heads drop and we're writing things down, we are still listening to
I
what
get
you
that.
have to say.
Absolutely.
You have any questions? Mike?
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Annandale Board of Education? And how will your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
I think my main motivation right now for seeking appointment is just I'm at a place in my life where it works. It's never that I've been disinterested or didn't want to be a part of the school or the community. I just had kids and work and everything else and wasn't able to. Now that my kids are older and have moved on for the most part, I have the time to devote to it. As I've said in my letter, I've been in some way, shape, or form a part of the school district my entire life. I was a student. I was the daughter of educators. I was a parent of students with the Annandale School District. So I've seen it from many different avenues, and I think that's offered me varied perspectives that could really come in handy. My experiences, like I said, I've worked in the human services field for 17 years. 14 years of that was at Avail. The last 3 years that I was with Avail, I was the executive director. So I'm familiar with board meetings and the processes and Robert's Rules of Order and how all of that goes. I'm through that really learned the ability to focus on policy, procedure, and not think with emotion or even personal preference. I'm able to look at a larger picture and see what I feel like would benefit the school district itself, the students. I can look at things very impartially, and I think that's really important in a role like this. I'm a member of the City of Annandale Zoning Board of Appeals, another place that I'm used to boardroom and board processes. And I was a member of the Annandale Volleyball Booster Club Board for, I don't know how many years, really long time. So again, really able to think about those things. And I think the fact that I don't have a student in the district right now, I kind of don't have any skin in that game. So I'm really able to look, I think, at a larger picture.
Okay, number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of a new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our students?
That's a tough one because everyone thinks you should just do it perfectly. And there is no, I don't believe, there's no magical equation to follow. I do think that open discussion and really being mindful of the fiscal responsibility is important, but I know we also have to invest in our school district and our children, or we are not going to advance. So I really think it's just research. Of course, I do think there are times that we need to take it to the community, like we did with the referendum for the new school, because ultimately we need them on board. Yeah, I don't have a magic answer for that one, but I do know that open communication and policy are very important when it comes to those.
Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
I think, the key word in that question is support. And I think that should be the school district's main, or I'm sorry, the school board's main priority. Primarily supporting our students first and foremost. And I know that looks different for everybody and that looks different for every situation. But I do think that that is the mindset that needs to go into, first and foremost, into all of the decisions that were made. How is this going to benefit our students? If we make those decisions, we're going to make decisions that benefit our educators and our administrators and our community at large, if we're making decisions with the betterment of our student body and mind.
Public education often involves differing viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
This is another one where I feel like my past work history will be a benefit. I do have a lot of training and experience in de-escalation. And I think, just practicing some of those techniques, the reflective responses and letting people know that you hear what they're saying, that you feel the emotion behind what they're saying, but just keeping your responses very level and very straightforward is really important.
Okay, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
To me, healthy board governance is respect, willingness to collaborate, the willingness to be okay with people that don't agree with you. I think it's healthy to not agree with everything that everyone says. The key is to do it in a professional and respectful manner. Yeah, I think we would be doing a disservice to our district if we agreed on every point and there was no debate and there was no discussion and things just went along status quo. There's no room for growth in that. So I really just do think that respect, honestly, is the biggest thing. If we can remember that we're all here for the same reason, even if the paths we want to take are different, we have a lot better chance of meeting someone that's going to work for our kids.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold the standards of service on?
Ethical leadership to me is leadership that is sincere. It lacks personal motivation. It's transparent. And it's following your policies and procedures to the best of the ability and not skewing those policies and procedures or playing with words. following not just the words, but the intent and the letter of the policy is really important.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the annual school board?
I think my greatest hope would be to make a meaningful contribution. I would like to be a very, I don't know if the word is, a blank slate, so to speak. I've not been involved with the school district at this level. And I would like to be a person that can sit at the table and listen to everything that's said there and then make a decision. I'd like to bring kind of a unifying, I think, feel maybe and try to repair some things that are happening in the community and do the best that I can to help them.
Thank you. The Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
I think strengthening the trust and the confidence from our community are going to come from improving the communication. And not just the communication we put out, but also the communication that we receive. And I think being open and honest and not being afraid to explain to people there's just some things we can't talk about with you. Instead of talking in circles, just be honest and open. I think if we improve those communications, the confidence from the community will improve, as will with the trust. It's not going to be a quick, easy, or overnight process by any means. I don't think it will even completely happen in the year that 11 months that this position has left, but it has to start. And if it doesn't start soon, I'm afraid that it's going to be.
Thank you, Melissa. That was it. Melissa, our next candidate is Bob Wilson. Is that where you are?
You can either stand behind the podium or you can.
I might start here.
That's okay.
Might stand up there later.
Be sure whenever you speak and use the microphone. The microphone.
You got it.
Ready? Hello. So members, are you ready?
Some of the questions, we would, yes.
Okay, Bob, as we start this evening, I see Deanna gave you the list of questions in front of you. The process will be each board member, starting with Mike, will go around the table and ask you a series of questions with 8 questions being asked of you. So you know when we get to Abby, you are almost finished with the interview process. And I noticed quickly in your information that you've given to us that you served our military, so I want to thank you for your service to our military. Very much appreciate that. So do you have any questions for us before we start?
When did you guys open up my resume?
Just now. You just received it tonight.
And the cover?
I'm sorry?
The cover letter also?
Yes, we received the whole packet that you turned in
Enjoy.
just tonight.
Enjoy.
Thank you so much for all of that information.
I don't know how long it's gonna take you to read it, but I have fun.
Okay, we'll start with Mike Teresa for your first question, sorry.
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Antigo Board of Education, and how do your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
You wanna take 10 minutes to read my cover letter? Sure.
I glanced through it.
Okay, well, it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. Let me read it again. Well, actually, it was an article in the paper. Week or so ago. And there was, 3 different dates for this meeting. And then there was, some words in quotation marks. And I thought, well, that sounds like pretty easy stuff, there. Gotta be a state statute. So I called Deanna. Find out when was the actual date of the meeting. And then I did research like the letter says. And so, what motivated me? Well, because I care about this. I mean, read it. There. I'm an advocate for children. Always have been.
All right, question 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
I think the key word there is balance. You know, fiscal responsibility.
Student achievement remains top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
I would say, you give me full support, 100% at all times.
Public education often involves different viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
Hey, when you say community members, what do you mean, like, at Walmart, you see somebody that you're talking about, or in meetings, or what?
Community members in general, could be at any point.
I would tell them to stay informed, do the research, come to meetings, pay attention to detail, you know, get involved, you know. I don't think the school board's a participation sport. And as far as, you know, I would say come to the meeting to get it from the horse's mouth. I don't like, you know, rumors and all that, whatever, you know what I mean? You know it. Next.
Okay, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you? And how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
Well, I think quick and dirty answer after read all that. It's probably not everybody ever gets what they always want. I mean, you gotta give and take. That's what you know. That's what has to be really done. I mean, you know what? And I'm not being sarcastic, but when I get to be God, that would be different. And I'm never gonna. We could change a lot of things, but the only thing that we have control of is our education system. We need to get together, agree or disagree, agree to disagree, you know, come up with a plan. Now, I did a little research and I could see how complicated it is. Maybe there's, you know, and state statutes, board policies, you know, it's complicated. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. I can't wait to start. And I really can. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting. And I think I'm gonna learn a lot. I already have. Sure.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold those standards while serving on the board?
I might have a different definition for healthy, but I kind of get the general gist of it. And I'm thinking that definitely, you know, if people want to know what's going on around here, they need to come to me. That's it. They can read the minutes through high schools. Okay. As far as confidentiality, what stays here, what is said here stays here. On the other hand, what it hasn't been said, but it hasn't been read. That's the general rule that I came from. Okay. So, what does ethical leadership mean? You know, say what you're gonna do and do what you say you're gonna do. Well, upholding, well, you have a multiple questions, obviously. And how would you uphold those standards while service on the board to the best of my ability? To the best of my ability. No doubt in my military mind. Oh, there you go. I can college. Yeah, I went to Pleasant School off that, you know.
Number 7, if selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service and the annual school board?
Learn as much as I can about the whole process. You know, I like to read. Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Goodman, Mrs. Strauss taught me how to read pleasantly. Back before just whatever you were born. I've been told that you learn to read, and then you learn from reading by reading. And I like to read. So what would I like to accomplish? Well, like I said, learn as much as I can. Like it says, my research, I read stuff until I couldn't see it. I just kind of ran out of time. Yeah, but there's more time to do. We're not done yet.
Okay, your last question.
Okay.
The Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
Oops, sorry. Well, hey, anytime you put yourself out there, everybody has their own things to look at. You know, this is America. Please, I know you know. We're all entitled to opinions. I gotta take a break. I've been talking too much. Bear with me, folks. I've done this once before. Go ahead, read for it. As you can see. You know, when you're promoted in the military, go before a promotion board. Well, guess what? They know the questions and they know the answers. And there's only one answer. And that's the right answer. You know, maximum effective range of a 50 cal. What is it? Well, it's 2,000 meters. Race a bird out. There ain't no other answer. So I have a little experience, as you can see, with interviews. But I'm not any good at it. Always room for improvement. No doubt. You can always do one more thing. You can always do one more thing. No doubt. What are we on, number 7?
Yep, that was number done.
Oh, well, that may not be done. I have to read it. Because it's a multiple choice question. Oh. Well, just be real. Be real. You know, best foot forward. Any other questions? I guess you can.
That's all the questions that we have to ask. Thank you so much.
Well, that's quite all right. You can keep the information.
Thank you so much.
Gotcha.
Well, let's get on.
I have. What do you guys do with my resume? Put it in the public or we should get to see it or what's the scoop?
Nope, it'll go right back to Deanna in the files at central office.
Forever?
A copy of it becomes part of the record, yes.
Well, Mr. What would you say?
The district has certain retention schedules. Typically, records are kept for 7 years at least.
Yep. Yep. Right. Keep up the good work.
I'll do my best, sir.
I'm serious. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the minimum, 7 years. Not the max.
Correct.
Correct. All right.
Okay.
Is that done?
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna pull up a chair because, I'm not maybe one. Oh, I think I have one. I forgot.
Our next candidate is Jeremy Payton Stevens. Jeremy, you can either stand or you can have a seat, whatever you feel comfortable with.
All right, thank you.
So the process that we will take tonight, you have in front of you the list of the 8 questions. And we will start with Aunt Teresa, and we will go through asking each one of these questions. Each board member will ask you a question. And, forgive us if we put our heads down as we're writing down. We're still listening to what your responses are.
All right.
When we get down to, Abby at the end, you know that you're almost finished. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I've had no.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Annandale Board of Education? How will your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
The motivation for me is I have 2 older children that have graduated from the Antigo School. I have 2 beautiful daughters, 9 and 7, who are in grade school. They have their whole school life ahead of them, basically. The youngest one going into 1st grade this next school year. So I feel I'm totally vested in the fact of we have a lot of great things going on in our school. Our district has some great employees. I think we have a lot of good things going. Are we perfect? No, nobody is. But I think together we could all come together with some ideas and help make it as close as we possibly could. And given the fact that I have the 2 young children that have their whole school lives ahead of them yet, I felt this was a great thing and a great opportunity to try to bring out the best that we can for them and their classmates and the ones coming behind them. As far as skills and experiences go, a lot of mine is I have donated my time in the past coaching youth football. I did coach youth baseball. I enjoy, talking with the kids, goofing around with the kids, having a good time with the kids, and that is another thing that motivates me as far as all the children and what we can accomplish for them.
All right, number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our students?
My belief is the fact of if it's gonna benefit all children, from 4K through 12, then we have the responsibility to do what we can to give them the best opportunities for their schooling and through life. If that means putting money towards their future, if it benefits all children, great. And that's a great thing. As long as there's no, wasteful spending for things that don't benefit all the children, then I think the responsibility is there for everybody to bring in the best interests of the children and go forth with that.
Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
the school board itself should be giving the resources to the staff to give the children of our schools the best education that the city and the administration can provide. My biggest thing there is, again, if it would support, I would definitely support anything as long as it would come down to if it's best for the education of our children. Before anything else, I know there's a lot of different things bickering back and forth, you know, in people in this town and elsewhere. And what we really need to do is everybody should be focused on the children and what's best for their education. That's what we're really all here for.
Public education often involves different viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
This one for me, be quite honest, I'm one of the people that, me personally, if I feel it's what's best for all the children of our community, I personally am not one to get offended or be worried about what somebody else says. You know, what they would want to say about me, just like I'm sure everybody here at these tables have had something said about them. You know, that's their opinion. Everybody's entitled to it. Again, my main focus would be on the children, not worrying about what this person or that person says.
Number 5, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
Well, we definitely would have to, everybody should get along and sit down and try to find a common ground. Without finding a common ground with everybody, who's it helping? Nobody. It's just the argument, it's just a back and forth, he said, she said. And that's not anything good for the children or for anybody here.
Thank you.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold the standards while serving on the board?
What it means to me is to be a strong leader for the future of our school. Always do what's right, what you, in your heart and in your mind, honestly believe is the best for the children, not for yourself and not for Johnny down the road. What's best for the children, even if it's not best for, you know, for you yourself. That's all that matters. As far as upholding the standards, my main standard, and it's going to sound like a broken record, is the children and the children first. My decisions would only go based on the children, not my religious views, not my political views. it is strictly for the children.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the annual school board?
My number one thing would be keeping the great staff that we do have. That would be number one. That's something that I believe we should all work together on bringing forward. There's also the fact of working together to try to get the best staff we can to come to our schools, whether it's 4K through 12. The children of our community deserve the best, and we owe it to them to give them the best and try to get them the best.
Thank you. Okay, the Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
The biggest thing is no matter what, there's always going to be disagreements. The best thing is even when somebody's criticizing you in your decision, there's always room to find a middle ground with that person. Because as you're working here, sitting on the seat, you're representing the people of the community. In most, cases, they voted you into the seat to represent them. So if there is a point where they don't have a disagreement, or they have a disagreement with you, that you should definitely, want to work with these people to find that common ground. Because common ground is going to be better than the bickering. I also believe that after that, by doing that, especially with the people in the community, you can earn their trust more, and you have a better opportunity to make amends with the community and stop the bickering, maybe come together for the sake of all the kids in our schools and staff.
Thank you, Jeremy, for coming and standing before us.
Thank you.
Jeremy, again, appreciate you. Our next candidate is Ellen Disselhoff.
Mr. Kite, I have to inform you that there is one candidate in there that is going to be withdrawing their nomination at this time.
Okay, and their name is?
I cannot remember their name at this time. But I will find out that name for you and bring it back to you after this interview.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not good with names, I'm sorry.
I'm not good at pronouncing names, as we know. Okay, thank you for coming to be with us tonight. The process will be, we have 8 questions, which you have a copy of those questions in front of you. We will go around the table for each board member to ask those questions. We'll start with Mike, and then we will end with Abby, and take as much time as you need. If there's no time limit to answer each question. Do you have any questions for us?
Not this time.
Thank you. Mike?
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Danville Board of Education? How will your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
Thank you so much. My husband and I opened a business here in 2021, and we built it from the ground up. We are huge into the community. We're passionate about helping our kids. And I see this as a way to, again, plug into our community and better serve. So if there's an opportunity to give back, normally we're the type to jump right in.
All right, number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
It's a really good question. Bookkeeping, that is absolutely crucial. I know this from running a business. You have to know your profits and losses. You have to know what your budget is. You have to know all sources of income and expenses. Be very organized and precise and accurate in what those amounts are. So, there again, that just knowing your numbers really, really well and staying on top of that.
Student achievement remains top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of superintendent and staff?
So personally, I feel like you as school board members, are responsible for bridging the gap between the leadership, the faculty, taking them into consideration and basically doing your best to ensure that there's a healthy atmosphere where people are seen, heard, and recognized. So that within itself can help promote a healthier atmosphere for the kids, which would improve grades and the overall.
Public education often involves different viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
It's a really good one. I do believe that there are many efforts being made by the school board as far as publicly sharing on YouTube, the meetings, which I seriously appreciate because not everybody can make it to meetings. But basically sharing the context in how decisions are being made, so that not only are they just, people aren't just seeing the outcomes, they're seeing the hows, the whys, and how all of you are communicating together as a whole in order to make those decisions. That's super, super important. Maybe a little bit more presence, maybe a little bit more communication might help a lot. I know that the Amarillo Daily Journal has been doing an amazing job of putting a lot of things out there at no cost to the community, which is amazing. So leveraging those tools that, again, everybody has access to in order to bridge that gap.
Number 5, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how do you contribute to a positive board culture?
Again, he's saying with me, atmosphere is everything. So maintaining, respectful relationships, treating each other with respect, and then good individual to each other. Those sorts of things, despite, differences of opinion. Standards when it comes to your conversations, like our conversations potentially. Yeah, voted.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold the standards while serving on the board?
I believe I've been a very ethical individual my entire life, so I don't feel that would ever be a problem. Confidentiality, obviously, no rules, no pay, or at least try your best. Makes sense. Obviously, mistakes do happen, but at the same time, nothing's necessarily intentional all the time. Representing the districts professionally, I feel like that's something that kind of comes with the job. I don't know, I feel like we've done a lot within this community so far, as far as being leaders with, or not leaders, but investing our time and efforts into the Angle Wrestling Club, into the into the Penguins Swim Club, and a lot of other amazing organizations, individuals throughout our community have done a ton. So I believe that if you have any questions when it comes to our personal views or ethics, you can reach out to me as a sponsor or doing swim things.
Thank you.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the Angle School Board?
That's a tough question, since there's so many changes. I would really like to see, again, some gap bridging when it comes to leadership and the faculty themselves. That's something as a business owner myself, being in a very, very social business that we are, that has been brought up many, many, many times within our walls, and I feel like it's absolutely necessary. And in turn, when you, again, uphold that, maybe change things up a little bit, set some standards for communications, make people feel seen, welcome, and respected, you're going to have a higher retention.
Thank you.
Okay, the Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
So again, I am in a very social setting when it comes to what I do for a living, and a lot of people know who we are. We talk to a lot of different circles, and it's basically, again, it's one of those things where I have a lot of conversations, like a lot of conversations. And so for someone to be able to approach me and just, again, maybe just come, be more comfortable talking to somebody like me in a social setting versus not saying the worst through. But also, with titles comes a little bit of like, I don't want to get in trouble, that sort of deal. I'm not that type of person. I'm very laid back. People know me for who I am and what we've done within this community. So again, just offering that extension of, hey, I'm safe to talk to, no matter what your position is, no matter who you are, where your stance is. Like, I'm here to listen and learn respectively. And again, whether I agree or disagree with that, maybe I can just offer some points that they may not have thought of, or some information that obviously, let's say they just take the footnotes of a meeting or something. Oh, okay, but context. All right, you weren't in the room, so here's how that works. Sort of thing. Or point them in the right direction where, hey, you know what, maybe you should go review this before you start making statements or, you know, thinking a certain way about certain things.
Thank you, Alan, for coming and interviewing for this position. Want to see Alan? Our next candidate is Dawn McCann. Leon, will you find the name of the person?
We did.
And who is that?
Gloria Pagel.
Gloria. Welcome to the interview process for this open seat. The process tonight will be 8 questions, which you have copies of the questions in front of you, so you can follow along as the board members are asking the questions. We'll start with Mike, and we'll go through all the way to Abby and ask the questions. Give us as we put our heads down to write some notes and things down. We're still listening to your answers. Take as much time as you need. There's no time. Do you have any questions for us? Okay.
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Annandale Board of Education? And how do your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
I'm seeking to be part of the school board because of my love of working with children and people. And that I feel education is very important in the different boards and groups and organizations I've worked with have enabled me to understand what kids need, what staff needs, what the community would like.
All right, number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
Well, if we don't have good buildings where kids are using Chromebooks and all that for their education, and that you know, you have to have good schools, you have to have a healthy school. If you don't have a healthy school, kids can't learn because they're sick all the time. So I guess between the two, they kind of go hand in hand with each other, and that because you want kids to be in school, you don't want to be out of school. You want to be in there learning with everybody else and not be at home or sick all the time.
Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
My personal opinion is I feel that the board and administrative staff, superintendent included, when a situation arises, they should be open. They should be willing to listen to both sides, not make their own opinion, and then not give anybody a chance to voice their opinion or say how they felt. If you're only going to do one side, that's not fair to the other side. So we have to be open to listen to everything before we make an informed decision on
such matters as athletics or anything else pertaining to that. Can't just be a one-sided thing. Yeah, everybody has a right to voice their opinion, and that's how I feel.
Public education often involves different viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
First and foremost, I'd like to listen to what the person has to say fully before I make a committed answer to them. But I would also direct them to come to a school board meeting to where they can voice their opinion on if they're happy with it or not happy with it, and be more informed and involved, because that's the only way you can make a good decision is by hearing all sides at once and being able to voice your opinion, and that when given the opportunity.
Number 5, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
Well, we're not always going to all agree on everything. So we have to learn to be able to disagree, but still be kind and friendly in doing so. We can't just sit there and this is my way or the highway. We have to learn to work together for the good of all.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how will you uphold those standards while service on the board?
That one's kind of a hard one. Ethically, it's very important to maintain the confidentiality and acting ethically and representing district professionally. There's going to be times where it's going to be hard to do that, but if you can control your emotions and your attitude and just be able to talk it out, that's the most important thing. Not letting any of this other stuff get in the way.
Thank you.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the annual school board?
First of all, to learn a little bit more about what the Indigo School Board does and to mainly be able to work with everybody on the board.
Thank you. Next question though. The Unified School District of Annabelle has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
First and foremost, we have to listen to what the community is telling us, what they're saying to us, and that they have a vested interest in this district too, whether they have children in this district or grandchildren in this district. And that listening is a priority, and if you can listen to them fully, and then you can give a better answer. I would also encourage that they come to school board meetings or talk to school board members on what they feel is good or what they feel is not good, so that as a board, we're understanding what they're wanting out in this community too, and then they understand what we're trying to do with the kids and the
Thank you, Dawn, for coming and interviewing for this open seat.
Our next candidate is Randy Myers. Randy Myers.
I think I'll choose to sit.
You may have that option set.
Thank you.
Randy Dion has given you a list of 8 questions. And the process will be that each board member will ask a question. And you can follow along with those questions as we ask those. We'll start with Mike on the end, and then when we get around to Abby, we know you're almost to the finish line. Do you have any questions for us, Randy?
No, not at this time.
Having said that, we'll start with Mike.
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Antigo Board of Education? And how do your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
I always try to convince my wife not to run for the school board because I thought it was a thankless job, and that's probably overstating it, but I've been in this community for 40 years. I've been involved mostly with the hospital environment, but I like to teach. I like to interact with the people there. I think I see some good things happening in our community. I think the new school is good, we're making some progress. But I also see that things are roadblocked right now. And I guess that was part of it, but also only one person applied at a late date, so I put in a late application. I have considered doing this in the past, but I guess what motivates me is I want to help to serve our community, and I'd like to help to bring better communication between administration and teachers and within the board itself, if that's possible. As far as what skills I possess, I consider myself a team player. I have been on boards in the past. I'm currently on the hospital board. I think that it's important to realize kind of what you can and can't do as a board member. I think the main thing we do is provide guidance more than anything else. I guess that's what I've said.
Okay, number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
I understand that we are not a wealthy community, that it's hard to get taxes. I think we look for alternative funding wherever we can. I think grants have helped the school community in the past, and I think we can get a really good grant writer that can help to augment funding. I think we need to utilize the resources that we have available to us, particularly with technical learning and things of that nature. Um, Obviously, the students are the most important thing. And I think we invest in them by listening to them, helping them to get along with each other, and having the ability to do extra things, whether that's sports or music or those kind of things. I realize those things cost money. But this community, again, has been very good in previous years at helping get our students to take trips abroad and support the band and all of those kind of things. So,
Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
I'm not exactly sure what is meant by respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff. When it comes to supporting academic excellence, that's again, you can't micromanage, but I think everybody likes to feel like they're being heard and they're being appreciated. And that goes for the students as well as the teachers and the administrators. And if you can find ways to make that happen, I think that's probably the best the board can do by providing positive feedback where it really can.
Public education often involves different viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where the community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
Well, first of all, I think our current president of the board has done a pretty good job with that from what I've seen with the recent attendance at the meetings regarding the swimming pool. I think you listen to people, but you set rules about what kind of behavior you can have. You're never going to be able to please everybody. Again, I think you try to make the people feel heard, okay, about their concerns, but you're never going to make everybody happy. And I think you acknowledge their concerns, and then you have to do ultimately what you feel is best for the school and the community.
Effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
I think healthy board governance means coming prepared to meetings so that you know pretty much what the issues are as best you can, come prepared, when disagreements occur, I think you have to adopt the attitude that everybody in the organization has the same goal. They want success of our school system. Okay? You're never going to agree on everything, but if you go into a meeting itching for a fight, you're going to find one. Okay? And I think you have to be prepared to listen, and sometimes you have to accept decisions that you don't personally agree with, and that's just part of life. So, thank you.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold those standards while serving on the board?
I guess ethical leadership means treating people the way you would like to be treated. As far as maintaining confidentiality, I think that's something I've needed to do professionally my entire life. I don't think I would have any difficulties with that. I think you have to recognize your own conflicts of interest, and that's very difficult to do. I think we kind of lost some of that introspection. A lot of us don't recognize our own conflicts, and you need to be able to do that. As far as upholding the standards while serving the board, I've not kept up with the board over a long period of time, but it seems as if everybody treats each other in a respectful manner. And I think that's probably the most important thing.
Thank you.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the Annabelle School Board?
I guess I think the main thing the school board needs to do is convince the community that we continue to put the best interests of our students as our number one priority, and not get too concerned about local politics. As far as what I would hope to accomplish, I guess better communication, better reputation with the community, and helping teachers to feel appreciated so they wish to stay and continue to work on that. That's all.
Thank you.
The Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
I think
representing a unified front as best you can, even though when you disagree on things that you develop a sense of camaraderie and that you're all in this together. And I'm not exactly sure how you do that. I do think the board has been under a lot of increased scrutiny. I think you try to be as open with information as you can be. Okay. But, like, publishing minutes is great, but I don't think most people read those. I don't know how you have a positive publicity campaign for the school board, but I'm sure there are ways to do that. More open houses, more things so that the community can see just what we're doing in the tech schools and elementary schools and things of that nature. As far as strengthening trust, I think you develop trust by being honest and open about the way you conduct business. I think the community wants to feel that the school board is getting along to the point where they're getting things accomplished. And I think that is happening. I think it is better. I think the only way to get community confidence is by doing a good job and doing the best that you can. I received a nice level of education, as did my children. I don't know how you instill a work ethic into young people. I think by providing opportunities to do things both inside school and outside of school where they can feel pride in their accomplishments goes a long way. I think students also learn an awful lot from other students. And developing that positive attitude has got to come slowly. You got to find some way to get them off of their screens. You know, the county is having a movie, and I think it was here once before, called Screenagers. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to see it, because it's just a very difficult world in what I grew up in. I want to thank the board for the opportunity to come and speak before you, and regardless of what happens this evening, I think I will likely want to participate, and I now have the time to do so. So I fully intend to run for school board. So thank you very much.
Our next candidate is George Shinners. George, you can either have a seat or stand up, but I think you're taking your seat, that's good. Okay. The process will be you have in front of you a piece of paper with 8 questions on there. And we will begin with Mike asking the first question and go around for the entire board with Abby saying the last question. And forgive us if we put our heads down because of writing notes and things down. Okay. Do you have any questions for us? Okay. Mike?
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Annandale Board of Education? How do your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
I've had a lot of experience over 50 years getting very different groups of people, very different backgrounds to identify a goal, work together, and I think the success has been there because we had pretty good communication. And it was a two-way conversation. Employees always have good ideas, you just cannot ignore that. So I was able to recognize that and get people cooperating for a common goal. Done it for 50 years now.
Okay, number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
Fiscal responsibility is fiscal responsibility. It involves spending your money wisely. We have to spend it responsibly. And the world is changing. The students that were here when my kids were in school had a slightly different educational expectation. Today, I wouldn't have a clue what some of the responsibilities are for our younger students. They need to be kept up to date in not only these liberal arts, but also in the manual arts tech programs. When we think about it, I always look at it about a third. Third, take a job locally. Third, maybe go on to a tech school or a secondary school. Another third or so might go on to a four-year university. So we've got to be aware of how we prepare our students as they have historically left high school.
Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
I lost you on that.
I'll read it again. Student achievement remains a top priority.
The school board, as one said recently, sets policy and hires a superintendent. Student achievement is a result of school board decisions. And it's an interesting combination of policy, which leads to success, and knowing enough about the successful conclusion of your policies. Are they doing what you expect them to do? So there has to be some two-way communication between the board and the administration. It's a team effort. Not every policy will last forever. So you have to be at least aware enough of what is the feedback coming from your staff of all sorts. And should we be helping the administration by adjusting some of the policies that are in place? And that's the board's ultimate responsibility. But they also have to know what's going on.
Public education often involves differing viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
This does happen, doesn't it? But it's also often based on lack of information, false information. It requires some two-way conversation of what happened, what are the facts, what could you suggest as a solution if you think there's such a wrong decision that was made? Have to talk to them. They have to bring them into the conversation and get them to explain what it is they believe the problem is. And then you can look at what resources school administration, school board, whatever, have to try to solve the problem. Worst thing you want to do is just get it into the social media and let it blossom onto something that's uncontrollable.
Number 5, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
Obviously, there's not enough time. And I think the successful collaboration begins with the individual committees addressing issues and bringing that information back. Generally, we've got 3 on a committee, but there's 9 on the board. I think there's times when we aren't really letting the other 6 know enough about what is necessary to collaborate. But I'm a firm believer that when the facts are out and people have a chance to question each other, comment what they think, and come to a common conclusion that's what's best for everybody, things work out. When they don't know all the facts and implications, things can get a little confused. So I'm a firm believer that we all have responsibilities on this board. You appointed a lot of committees tonight. They have a lot of responsibility to do their homework and bring their information back to the rest of the board so that we can have cooperation.
Thank you.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold those standards while serving on the board?
There's many things, many discussions, many decisions made by board members. Often it's identified as a confidential discussion. The results are not to be disclosed. We do have a closed session which goes somewhat toward answering this, but even closed session isn't the total answer. You have to believe that you respect the confidentiality and the rights of other people to keep information confidential. Thing that bothers me the most is when we have unsubstantiated comments that are made supposedly with all kinds of credibility, which may not be there because somebody said something they shouldn't have. To me, confidentiality is confidentiality. You keep it to yourself. There is no second option.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the Annie School Board?
My first year, I think this is almost less than a full year right now, right? I would like to feel that we've got good communication from all entities in the school, administration, school board, staff, people. I would like to see more participation by people like ourselves out in the audience. I would like to see a little more possibility of more discussion at the committee level, not quite so structured. To me, my committees, of which I was chair of 3 of them, as you read, we did have discussion, and we learned a lot. I go to committee meetings now, and I have to go through the agenda. I would hope to be able to loosen that up some and get a better public input on what they're thinking that has impact on board decisions. I don't know what goes on in a high school. know some about the Tech Ed program. Go to committee meetings. Sometimes they don't have a committee meeting. To me, they were very important. And I would like to see them a little less structured. I would hope to try to do something in that regard this year. To me, there's talent in the board, but there's also talent out here. Experience out here, experience there. The more we can bring the two together, I think the better off we are.
Thank you.
Okay, the Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
There's a lot of good things going on in this district. The responsibility, I believe, of this school district to continue to accentuate the good things that are going on. That means that we have to be good at communicating with those that disseminate information. We have to be pretty good at not letting negative information flow through some of our media. But we're getting honors from state, national organizations. Our kids are accomplishing individually, small groups. I've noticed a very definite increase in letting people know that we are doing some good things here. And we have to continue to do that. It comes down to people talking to each other and recognizing that we can do good things. Why did the good things happen and how can we make it happen more? Maybe some of the things that didn't occur quite as well as we'd like. Why did that happen? And how can we avoid it in the future? But we have to be able to honestly sit down and discuss it without getting personal about it, without pointing fingers at each other. And this school district has an awfully good reputation over many, many, many years. I want to see it get back to that by continuing to do the things that are making us positive. Sure, but we can do it.
Thank you, George, for taking the time to come and interview with us.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
No, you have to leave those questions there for the next candidate. Sorry about that. Our candidate number 10 has withdrawn her name from the list of candidates. That was Laura Pagel, I'm sorry. And the next candidate is Rebecca Brink. Hi, Rebecca, thank you for waiting and being patient out there. And we are going to give you 8 questions. I think you have them in front of you. So
I have
you
a
can-
handout for you. Can I hand that out?
Sure, you may.
Just my history, background.
Okay, you have a list of questions there before you. Have the 8 questions that we will be asking. The process will be we'll go around the room, starting with Mike. And when we get over to Abby, you know that you are finished and done 2 different hours.
Sounds good.
So, taking some time to use to answer the questions, there's no time limit. Do you have any questions for us? No? Okay, Mike.
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Annandale Board of Education? And how do your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
So I grew up in Antigo. I graduated out of Antigo High School. I have 3 children that graduated, well, one is still currently in. I work for the county and clerk multiple committee meetings in Sixth County government, and just thought I'd be a good fit to help this committee or board help.
Right, number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John E. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
So infrastructure is obviously key to moving us forward. So to keep our students up to date and current with all other facilities, we need to be able to maintain that. As for the fiscal responsibility, I assume the board, well, you don't assume, I know you all work out a budget just like the county does. You maintain your budget, you know exactly what you're going to be doing within the next hopefully 10 years and stay within that. And if you need larger capital improvements, budget for that and move forward.
Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
Okay, so I'm assuming you're all policymakers, so policy is what keeps the board, the school, your employees all running correctly. So I would assume your board is to watch the policies, make sure the policies are running smoothly, and adjust the policies as needed to help support your staff and your students. And when you see that lacking through your teachers or your administration, be able to adjust those policies to help your students, help your administrative staff, help your support staff achieve their goals and to make our school the best school.
Public education often involves different viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
So we all have strong opinions, we all have strong feelings, but you need to work as a whole and don't get sucked down that rabbit hole out there on Facebook and other stuff. You can maintain your own personal, but it doesn't need to be out there for everyone. And we do have strong opinions. And the public should have a strong opinion. They should care deeply about what happens in the school, and I understand. So the decisions and initiatives of the board is made as a whole. That's why it's a board. You don't always necessarily have to agree with everything that happens, but you are a board and you're part of the board and you're part of those decisions
and you support those other board members.
Number 5, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive board culture?
I hope there's disagreements, because if there's not, the board is not currently running as it should. It should not be a yes board, and that should not be a no board. All of you should have ears and different opinions and be able to privately work together to come together as a whole. It may take a little bit, but you should be able to finally be able to mesh together to create the best working environment for you, again, your staff, your students, your support staff.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how will you uphold the standards while serving on the board?
So the public's looking at you for the answers. They're looking at you and how you react. They're looking at you for how you behave. So you maintain that responsibility and you stay in that structure at all times. Confidentially, that is 100% key. Confidentially means a lot to me. And if it's discussed in closed session, it remains in closed session. There's a reason it was in closed session.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish during your first year of service on the Annual School Board?
First year, everyone has a learning curve, right? So just to get in, get comfortable with the board, and watch your reactions, your decisions, and make the best decision I can make off of those recommendations. Work collaboratively with all of you. And I hope to make our school district the best school district we can possibly have for all of our students and teachers.
Thank you. The Unified School District of Annandale has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
So, accomplishments, put it out there. Everyone looks to see accomplishments, right? Better, more. But also, you put out the bad. Transparency is key, I think, with all organizations. If they feel like you're hiding something, it's not going to go well. If you can be transparent with the public, whether it's good or bad, I think the board will trust, and the community and the community will trust in what's happening. Continue to get the key supporters out there and people to come and watch and listen so you know what's going on. Continue to put it out there for everyone to see. But again, transparency is key for good and bad. We support that good.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca, for coming and answering all these questions. I appreciate your time. And our last candidate is from Italy, Budget. Hi, Beverly, thank you for enduring to the end. Very much.
Want to give points?
Thank you. You have in front of you 8 questions that each one of the board members will be reading. We'll start with Mike and come around to the end with Kennedy. And you take as much time as you need to answer those questions. And you know when we get to Abby that we're almost done to the end. So do you have any questions for us, Beverly?
At the end, I could ask questions.
You may. Sure. Mike?
What motivates you to seek appointment to the Unified School District of Annandale Board of Education? And how do your skills and experiences prepare you to serve our students, staff, and community?
I love learning. This is one of the reasons why I requested an appointment at Marathon County Board as UW Extension Committee member, because it's an educational entity. And education affects you in your personal and your working life. And the school system plays an important part in the social life of the community. We can go to the next question.
All right, number 2. The district has made significant investments in facilities, including the construction of the new John H. Bradley Elementary School and other capital improvements. How do you believe the board should balance fiscal responsibility with investing in the future of our schools?
When balancing physical responsibility has to be balanced with the priorities and goal setting. I have to say, funding, I certainly wish the state of Wisconsin would change the formula for funding our schools. I would like to see it placed more on income tax instead of property tax. And I would work with our state legislators to encourage them to move in that direction.
Student achievement remains a top priority for our district. What role should the school board play in supporting academic excellence while respecting the administrative responsibilities of the superintendent and staff?
I believe the school board can set the tone for the district and how it acts as a board, hopefully unified. And I think beyond academic excellence, the development of character is also an important thing that the school district should be teaching. And I know the school board doesn't have, the school board, if I'm understanding it right, employs the administrator, and the administrator, all the people beyond that are their employees. But there's should be some interaction between staff and the school board to make sure that policies are working.
Public education often involves differing viewpoints and strong emotions. How would you handle situations where community members strongly disagree with board decisions or district initiatives?
My experience has been is when there's strong disagreement, there hasn't been enough education provided and facts provided. And if those two things are done, generally speaking, everybody will be somewhat in agreement. And that would be something that we should work for.
Number 5, effective governance requires board members to work collaboratively with one another, even when disagreements occur. What does healthy board governance look like to you, and how would you contribute to a positive work culture?
It's extremely important to develop personal relationships with all the school board members. Even if you just have a hobby in common, or if you have lunch with another board member, that would provide a positive board culture. I have to say, when I was on the American County Board, I still have friendships with a few of the board members after over 10 years. In other words, there used to be a saying, family that eats together stays together. So it's these personal relationships that can really overcome differing opinions.
Board members are entrusted with maintaining confidentiality, acting ethically, and representing the district professionally. What does ethical leadership mean to you, and how would you uphold those standards while serving on the board?
It's very important to have a good communication between the community and the board. If I'm chosen, my plan would be is to frequent the town board meetings in the district. And generally speaking, the chair will add you to the agenda so community members can talk with you at their meeting. So it's kind of an outreach where you're going to them instead of them coming here. I've done that before. And I think that really develops trust is when you're out in the public and they don't view you as just a person on the board.
If selected for this appointment, what would you hope to accomplish in your first year of service on the annual school board?
What I would like to accomplish is to show the board and the public integrity, that they develop a trust in decisions I would make with the board.
The Unified School District of Antigo has experienced both significant accomplishments and significant public scrutiny in recent years. How would you help strengthen trust, communication, and community confidence in the district moving forward?
I would probably refrain from being on Facebook with any negative comments about any other board member. And I really like to personally meet people and not do too much on social media. Reviewing the Facebook pages that have developed, it's my belief that the significant public scrutiny is that there is not enough communication between the board and the public. And as I said before, if everyone has the same facts and comparisons to look at, generally speaking, everybody will move in the same direction.
Okay, Beverly, you said you might have a question for us.
This past week, I was in the dental office, and it's really easy to strike up a conversation about public education. And my dental hygienist has students in the Mosinee School District. And she was very concerned with her first grade daughter, who she thought was a perfectionist, was being timed on reading 12 lines and how many mistakes she made in that time period. And I was interested to know if that was a policy set by the Mosinee School District or if that's a statewide testing program.
I wish that I knew all the policies memorized in my brain, but I don't, unfortunately. And I would have to refer that to our curriculum director, Amy Sutchering. She's not here with us tonight. She could probably answer that quickly, more quickly than I can. I don't know if anyone on the board can answer that question that you may have. But I will reach out to Amy tomorrow and ask her that question. And I think I have her phone number, right?
Yeah. I said I would get back to my dental patients.
I will, I'll give you a call. And,
That'd be great.
When I find the answer. If I don't get the answer tomorrow, I'll get the answer soon, and I will get back to you.
The other question that I have is, are there any active citizen committees at this time?
We do not have any active citizen community. I'm sorry, we do. We do have the task force for the aquatic center.
Has the school board given outlines of directives for the TIF representative?
We have not. We just appointed we're in the process of appointing our new TIF representative. It will be either Danny or Jeannie that will be our new TIF representative, and at which time one of them accept, they will then get the outline as to what is expected and what they need to look for going forward in those meetings.
So they have a set of guidelines to base their decision on.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Thank you for those questions. All right, thank you, Beverly, for coming and answering all those questions. My computer just died on me. Okay, so the next process that we need to take, is the board action, number 4, letter A, and that's voting to approve the new board member and administer the oath of office should a board member be selected. I do, but, yeah,
I didn't put on this for anything student.
okay.
Do that for you.
Sure. While some of the board members are finishing up some of their story, I do want to thank Gene Adams, because Gene, you did a marvelous job that you put out on social media. Social media sometimes can be good, can be positive, and the video that Gene put out was factual in that as we are electing a board member to fill the vacant seat of Dr. Pardo. We have 8 members on our board, and Jean, you are correct, it takes 5 votes for one person in order to be seated to that vacant seat. So if we have somebody that has a vote number, thank you very much, has a vote number of 4, and that's the highest vote, that seat is still not filled, vacant. So it does require one person of the 11 people receiving 5 votes from this board. Are there any questions for the other board members? All right, we'll wait a few minutes for the members to be ready, and then we will have a roll call vote. Deanna, you can be ready for that in just a minute.
You're gonna see some big things. It blows my mind. Are all the board members ready to give their voice vote?
Okay, so as Deanna called your name, you just speak the name of the person that you wish to vote for. And the candidate that receives 5 votes will be sworn in and become our new board member tonight. Any questions? Deanna?
Am I doing a roll call?
Roll call vote, yes.
Okay, so do the roll call and then the names.
The roll call vote where you say the names of the, board members alphabetically, and then they will speak who they are voting.
Okay. Jean Adams.
George Shinners,
Abby Maddock.
Donna Smith.
Joe Maddock Nelson.
Rebecca Ring.
Kristen Matt Miller.
Randy Myers.
Daniel Nicholson.
Beverly Christ.
Mike Parizek.
Don Smith.
Angie Schreiber.
Melissa Cornelius.
Danny Pyatt.
Jeremy Hinkey.
So we did not elect someone to fill the vacant board seat. The next step, the next process will be beginning tomorrow morning through Thursday, June the 11th at 3 o'clock. Whomever is interested in sending a letter of interest to the board secretary at the district office may do so. Send the letter of interest between tomorrow morning. You can either email it or drop it by the office by 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. This will be an item on the agenda for next Monday night's meeting, and we will attempt to fill the vacant board seat on next Monday night. And I'm sure that Chelsea will get that in the newspaper accordingly. Thank you so much.
I'll have it in infringement.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I'm sure our community appreciates that.
Mr. Chair, why are we stopping after only one ballot?
Because it's just one ballot. It's what we discussed with the attorney, that we take the one vote, and if it doesn't, nobody passes, gets the 5 votes, then we stop it voting.
It's my understanding that this is the process that's been used in the past. So this is the process to ensure fairness that prior candidates were treated similarly.
Have we had this many candidates in the past though? I mean, the only time I've experienced it was for Scott Peterson replacement, and then we only had 2, so 1 vote seems like a fair shot at it. But when we have 11 in the end,
I know when I first became interested in running for the board, before I ran, I applied for a CEO position, and there's quite a few that went to interview as well. And I don't remember the exact amount, I don't remember if it was 9 or 10%, but it was quite a bit like tonight. We have had that.
and there was just 1 ballot for that.
Yeah.
There is a vacancy policy. It does not specify the I don't believe, I recall that it specifies the process in which the voting shall occur. It simply indicates that the board may fill the vacancy upon vote, majority of the members present.
So are we able to have a conversation to try and fill the position tonight? Or are we saying that we can't have any conversation amongst us to try and get to a majority?
So I think a potentially effective process could be nominations, and then voting on those nominations, taking the 2 highest, and then going from there.
I mean, because I was kind of thinking too, I mean, could we narrow it down to 3 candidates? three and then revote on the three?
Three candidates would include, we would,
That's just a number I'm throwing out there. If you wanna do two to, just to shrink,
there were a number of single candidates. So I think there was only one candidate that had two, and then everybody else was single.
Correct.
So that would not be fair to shrink it down to either two candidates with one person having two votes and then the other 10 having one vote. Because then you're going to eliminate who there is no top vote getters, except for one with only two votes.
So if they,
Sure. And the same logic could apply to the, idea of giving nominations. If everyone nominates who they voted for, we're in the same position.
that's your logic. I just wanna try and get something filled so that we can start to move forward with some clarity and some structure going forward instead of bouncing back and forth on something, so I really would like to fill this tonight. And I think everybody wants it. I don't think anybody wants to push this on.
I agree, Dan. And everybody here has been here for almost
3.5 hours.
And I don't really want it to be a wasted day.
so if these candidates submit their letter of intent, do we have to interview them?
We would have to, because it would be completely new questions, because you can't reuse questions from one interview process to another. And there could be other potential people that would want to enter into the letters of interest as well. That doesn't seem productive at all. Well, productive or not, that's what our policy is. This is something that maybe we should take to policy after this issue and strengthen this policy, as Mr. Schindler said, when you have a policy that's not working for you, then fix it. And this might be something that we need to look at going forward. So anyone who is interested can submit a letter of interest from now till Thursday, June the 11th at 3 p.m. And we will have this on the item of the agenda for next month's, or next week's meeting, June the 13th. Letter B, consideration to approve new hires. I will be looking for a motion.
And I have another question just before we move on to that.
No, we cannot. I've already moved on to the next item. Letter B. I'm looking for a motion.
Move forward to approve the new hires as presented.
Motion been made by Kristen. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Just once again, I would like to know the number of applicants and years of experience we're bringing into our district. Very pleasant to see.
There was a high number of applicants of 42 for one position, 27 for another position, 26. So they've gone through a lot of applications. So thank you for pointing that out. And then the years of experience, we have somebody that applied with 20 years of experience, two actually applied with 20 years of experience, and then 7 years, 5 years, 3 and 2. So I think that is wonderful. Are there any questions or comments to the motion on the floor?
No, I'm just gonna further comment on that. So it said the lowest number of applicants per position on this, new hire list is 4. So you're going to the others from 4, or than 4 applicants, 4, 14, 15, 26, 27, and 42. And as stated, 2 years of experience, I would have to 2, 20 years of experience. So I think that speaks volumes to our district.
Yes.
And we're very excited to have a number of applicants with years of experience.
Any other questions regarding the motion on the floor? Okay, hearing no questions or comments on the motion on the floor, all in favor of the board approving the new hires as presented, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed of approving the board of the new hires as presented, let it be known by saying aye. And the motion carries. Letter 5, I will be looking for a motion for adjournment. Motion's been made by Jill for adjournment. All in favor of adjournment, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed of adjournment, let it be known by saying aye. This meeting is now adjourned.